Breaking news coming up. China has officially announced visa-free entry for Canadian citizens.
I'm very pleased to share that President Xi, in our meeting today, has committed to ensuring visa-free access for Canadians traveling.
Just moments ago, Canada has made a move that quietly rewrites North American power, and Washington cannot stop it. Canada, China visa-free pact just collapsed U.S. border leverage. Trump is completely locked out. This didn't happen with tanks, it didn't happen with sanctions, it didn't happen with threats. It happened with passports, airports, and people. Standing in Beijing after a closed-door meeting with President Xi, Prime Minister Mark Carney confirmed what many in Washington failed to anticipate. Canadians will now travel to China visa-free for up to 30 days. No applications, no embassy visits, no delays, just a ticket and a passport. On paper, this looks like tourism. In reality, it detonates America's quiet control over border traffic, transit revenue, and regional influence. For decades, U.S. border cities held a hidden advantage. They were the gateway. Seattle, Detroit, Buffalo, Los Angeles. Canadian travelers, Chinese tourists, business delegations, and diaspora families all passed through American airports, American hotels, American restaurants, American rental counters. That system just broke. Canada didn't cut the United States off. It simply removed the need to pass through it. More than 2 million Chinese Canadians now have frictionless access to China. These are not occasional tourists. These are families, entrepreneurs, students, investors, and professionals with constant cross-Pacific ties. Previously, many routed through U.S. hubs for cost and connectivity. That traffic disappears overnight. Direct flights replace detours. Canadian airports replace American ones. Canadian cities capture spending that once crossed the border. And that's only the first layer. China sent over 300,000 tourists to Canada last year, even without visa-free access. Industry projections now show that number doubling within 3 years. Not passing through the U.S., not stopping in Seattle, not crossing at Buffalo, flying straight into Vancouver, Toronto, Montreal. That money no longer touches American soil. Trump's pressure was supposed to isolate Canada. Instead, it erased U.S. leverage. While Washington escalated tariffs, Ottawa diversified routes. While Trump threatened annexation rhetoric and trade punishment, Canada redesigned mobility. This is the part that stunned analysts. Visa-free travel doesn't just increase tourism, it restructures habits. Once routes shift, they don't return. Airlines adjust schedules. Airports invest. Hotels expand capacity. Travel agencies market direct packages. Infrastructure locks in behavior. Even if politics change later, the system remains. That's why U.S. border mayors are already sounding alarms. Airport authorities are projecting passenger declines. Hotels near major crossings are reporting booking softness. These economies were built on transit, not destinations, and transit just rerouted. The timing makes this even more devastating. Canada is co-hosting the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Vancouver and Toronto will host matches watched by billions globally. China's football audience is massive and growing. Under the new rules, Chinese fans can attend matches in Canada without navigating visa bottlenecks or U.S. immigration hurdles. They will fly in, stay, spend, and leave without ever touching the United States. This wasn't accidental. Carney's Beijing visit wasn't symbolic, it was surgical. After nearly a decade of frozen relations, Canada didn't just normalize ties with China, it rewired access. At the same time the U.S. maintains complex visa barriers, Canada removed them. That asymmetry matters. Chinese travelers compare friction. So do businesses, so do airlines. Convenience wins, and Trump has no tool to counter it. Visa policy is sovereign. Air routes are commercial. Consumer habits are voluntary. Washington can't tariff movement, it can't sanction convenience. It can't threaten people into choosing longer, costlier paths. This is why the reaction inside U.S. policy circles has been unusually quiet. There's nothing to retaliate against. Canada didn't break a rule. It followed one. diversification. The deeper impact goes beyond tourism. People-to-people access strengthens trade, education, and cultural exchange. Students choose destinations with simpler mobility. Entrepreneurs invest where travel is predictable. Families reunite more often. Business delegations move faster. Every one of those flows used to touch the United States. Now, they don't. Trump believed pressure creates obedience, but pressure creates alternatives. The Visa-Free Pact fits into a much larger pattern. Canada has reduced tariffs on Chinese goods where the U.S. escalated. Canada expanded energy exports to Asia while Washington tried to weaponize trade. Canada rebuilt diplomatic channels while the U.S. burned them. Each move alone looks modest. Together, they remove dependency. This is why Carney's words in Beijing carried unusual weight. He spoke openly about predictability, about reliability, about results. That was the subtext Washington couldn't miss. Reliability now matters more than proximity. For decades, geography guaranteed American relevance. Canada didn't need alternatives. The U.S. was the route. That era just ended. When mobility shifts, power follows. Border economies don't collapse overnight, they erode quietly. Fewer passengers, lower occupancy, reduced tax intake, deferred infrastructure, shrinking employment, and no policy fix at the city level can reverse it. Federal decisions made the system. Federal decisions dismantled it. And this one didn't come from Washington. Trump's entire leverage model depends on choke points, trade routes, transit hubs, access gates. Canada removed one without confrontation. No press war, no retaliation, no escalation, just a signature and a schedule change. That's why this matters. This isn't about China gaining influence, it's about the US losing an assumption that Canada had nowhere else to go. Now it does. Once people adapt to direct access, they don't ask permission to return. They don't vote on it. They simply move where it's easier. And ease is power. The Visa-Free Pact doesn't shout. It doesn't threaten. It doesn't posture. It simply makes the United States optional. And in geopolitics, being optional is the beginning of irrelevance. Trump wanted leverage. He triggered independence. Canada didn't announce a shift. It implemented one. And by the time Washington noticed, the roots were already live.